Hi, I'm going to show you some of the features of the Ti-34 Multiview Texas Instruments calculator and how to solve some problems. So, basic stuff, here's the on. If you want to turn it off, you do second and then the on button again. There we go, that's better. And the second button is right here. The second button means that when you click this button, oh, I gotta turn it on again. When you click this button, this little second will appear right here, and this means when you click any of these buttons, it's actually going to do the function of what's written in gray above the button. So that's why second on is really second, and then it's actually off because it says off at the top. Some things that we're going to be using in 7th and in 8th grade include fractions. So if I just need to type in a fraction like 3/4, I type the what I call the fraction button. Right here it says n over d for numerator denominator, and then you can just type a 3, use the arrow, type a 4, and then I can use the arrow to slide it over and do whatever I need to. Maybe I'm multiplying by another, maybe I'm multiplying by a mixed number, 2.5. Well, then I'll click this mixed number button, type the 2, and then again I can use the arrow keys to help me type in the half, and then enter means equals. And it's going to give it to you as a mixed number. So here's another feature. You'll notice kind of these gray up above. This will convert, this one right here will be between fraction and decimal. So if I wanted this actually as a decimal, then I could do second this button, enter, and there it gave it to me as a decimal. This one right here actually does the same thing. I call it the double arrow button. Here's another thing we have. This down arrow means the fraction can be simplified. So we click simp right here, enter. There's still a down arrow, means it can still be simplified more. Down arrow, it can still be simplified more. Because there's not a down arrow anymore, that means it cannot be simplified anymore. So I've shown you how to change it between a fraction and a decimal, how to simplify. We can also change it from a mixed number to an improper fraction using the mixed number button right here. Second mixed number button, enter, and that gives it to us as an improper fraction. In 8th grade, we use exponents a lot. So this button is the squared button, so maybe I need 5 squared. But sometimes we're using things that are not squared. We need cubed or to the 4th power, to the 5th power. So I could do 5, and then this is the exponent button. It's going to make it small, and I can type in whatever is my exponent. Click enter. Sometimes we're using scientific notation, which is going to look like some number times 10 to some power. Okay, that's a giant power, but we might have something like that. So we would type that in by typing in our first number, and then we can type this times 10 to the power of n. That's our scientific notation button. I'm not going to do 51. I'll do 15. And then I got to slide, this is important, slide that arrow key over so the cursor is big again. And maybe I'm subtracting, so then I could do minus, I don't know, 3.7 times 10 to the 12. So again, 3.7, scientific notation button. So it already gave me times 10 to the power of, and I just type in 12, enter. And it gave me that answer in scientific notation. Some other things that we might use, this percent button. Right above it, it says arrow percent. That means convert it to a percent. So maybe I have this decimal 0.75, and my teacher wants me to change that into a percent. I can go second percent, enter, and that changes it into a percent. Be very careful if you don't do second, 0.75, and I just type the percent button. See how those two look different? Well, this is just saying I just want the number 0.75 as the percent that is, which is actually this. So like 3/4 is 0.75, which is 75%, but that's different. 75% is different than 0.75%. 0.75%, like if I have a cookie, 75% means I have this much of a cookie, right? 0.75% of a cookie means I have like itty bitty teeny weeny amount of cookie. Okay, so be careful of using that. Let's see, what other things do we use? Simplify. Here's the pi button for if we are doing things in terms of pi. Square root is right here. So if I'm asking students to find the square root of a number, they can just use that square root button. And then, of course, the basic operations are over here. And this double arrow I use a lot. That converts between the fractions and the decimals. Oh, and the negative. Don't get mixed up. Here's a negative, and here's a subtract symbol. And the way you know the difference of what to type is, if there is something in front of the symbol, then it's a minus. Okay, so 5 minus 7. If there's nothing in front of the symbol, well, it's, something like this, there's nothing in front of that symbol, so it's a negative. Or if you have a double negative or a double subtract of what it looks like, the first one is minus, the second one is negative. So there you go, that's some information about the calculator.